Good morning, Scotland. Good morning, social media land. I hope you are well. It is Wednesday, the 26th of March, 2025. There comes a time in every national struggle where caution becomes complicity. For too long, our leaders have chosen to tread carefully, to govern within the lines drawn for them by Westminster, hoping that if we proved ourselves competent, responsible, and patient enough, our reward would be the dignity of self-determination. The truth is now plain. There is no reward coming. The rules that we have followed were never designed to set us free. They were built to keep us exactly where we are. I say this not as a political analyst or a constitutional scholar, but as an angry independence activist who has marched, campaigned, persuaded and pleaded for Scotland's future to be decided by the people of Scotland. I've waited through one constitutional crisis after another, each one bearing the teeth of a system that pretends we have the power while yanking it away the moment we try to use it. And with each crisis, we hoped our leaders would finally draw the line. But they didn't. They didn't when the Supreme Court told us we weren't allowed to hold a referendum, not even a consultative one, without Westminster's permission. Scotland, a nation with its own parliament, its own legal system, and centuries of history, was told by a foreign court that it must ask for a hall pass to ask its people a question. This wasn't just a legal setback. This was the clearest declaration yet that the Union is not one of equals. But what did our government do with that verdict? Nothing bold, no public defiance, no strategic escalation, just more carefully worded press releases and empty promises of plans B, C, or D. The moment cried out for courage, and it was met with silence. They didn't draw the line when Westminster vetoed our gender recognition reform bill either. Now, regardless of where anyone stands on this policy, what matters is this. The Scottish Parliament passed that law by a democratic vote with cross-party support after a massive public consultation. It was entirely within devolved competence, and still, for the first time ever, Westminster used a Section 35 from within the Scotland Act to crush it. They showed us that even the decisions we are supposedly allowed to make can be overturned the moment they displease the British establishment. And yet again, Holyrood grumbled, took it to court, and then quietly moved on. Another moment wasted. Then came the deposit return scheme, an environmental initiative fully within devolved powers designed to reduce waste and pollution, blocked by Westminster under the Internal Market Act. We couldn't even take out the recycling without asking permission. Once again, we heard the excuses, the legal justifications, the media fog, but no decisive action. Just another polite submission to the masters in Westminster. We need to look at these incidents as warnings. Warnings that the Scottish Parliament is merely a devolved talking shop with limited powers. And it's always been that. Our ability to make decisions that reflect the will of the Scottish people is conditional, limited, and revocable. We're allowed to govern, but only on the terms that suit Westminster. The moment we try to lead, we're told and then forced to sit down. Each of these moments was a constitutional crisis, but what did we do with them? Nothing. No escalation, no confrontation, no defiance. Just legal challenges, delays, and a slow return to business as usual. Our government continues to act like this union can be reformed or reasoned with. That if we keep proving ourselves, they'll just hand us the keys. But they won't. It's time we stop waiting for Westminster to hand us a crisis that we can react to. It's time that we created one. Scotland must recognise Palestine as a sovereign state, not in words, not in motion, but in law. Let Holyrood defy the Scotland Act. Let it act on behalf of a people who have marched and mourned and cried out for justice. Let us stand where Westminster has chosen cowardice. We also must refer both Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer to the International Criminal Court for complicity in war crimes in Gaza. Yes, of course, this will breach reserved powers. It will enrage Westminster. That's the point. Let the world see that Scotland will not stay silent in the face of a genocide just because a colonial constitution says so. And then there's another constitutional crisis we could instigate. How about deliberately breaching the spending limits imposed upon us by our so-called block grant? How about pouring more money into the NHS or into the lives of people suffering under the weight of austerity, that austerity that we didn't vote for? And as we do so, we must point out emphatically that the UK is keeping billions of Scotland's money. Billions. We are overspending to save lives, and if Westminster wants us to stop us, they can come and try. Every one of these actions creates a constitutional crisis, and that is exactly what we need, because crisis strips away the polite fictions. It exposes the truth, and it forces the people to choose. The reaction from Westminster will be swift and ugly. They will send letters, they will send lawyers, they will threaten funding, or maybe worse. Good. Let them, because every time they lash out, they show the people of Scotland that this is not a voluntary union. It is control, it is force, and it is fear. But only if we let it be. The Scottish Government must act, and the movement must stand behind them without apology. No more waiting for the perfect moment. No more chasing polls. No more excuses. The longer we hesitate, the more this union tightens its grip. We have the moral high ground, and we have the public behind us, and we have the right to national self-determination that no court can erase. We will not win this by asking, but we will win this by daring. So let's dare. Let's dare to break the rules. Let's tear up the script, and let's make this leap that history demands. Because if recognising a people's right to freedom, if defending our own health service, if opposing genocide, if that's all illegal, then the real crime is staying in this union.